Hey y'all, it's Christine. Welcome back to my channel. So a few months ago, I posted a video about my struggles with being unemployed at 40 years old with living with depression. For over a year, I have been out of work and it has been very defeating. But within this time frame of when I posted that video to now, I have a few life updates I want to share, and also wanted to share a few things that I've been doing in order to manage my time. In no way is this how to get through unemployment, but I hope in being open and honest and sharing the things that I've been doing that other people can use these tactics to get through this trying time so that you're not just surviving and you're thriving. A little bit about me. I am a almost 41 woman, born and raised Brooklyn, New York. And I've been working as a content strategist within the beauty industry, but across all industries, really, working on strategy for digital marketing campaigns and the really full 360 consumer funnel. And that includes creating the content, strategizing the content, and also copywriting. So I have a degree in journalism and I graduated from New York University in 2006. And I have been in this industry for nearly 20 years. So when I got let go last March, it was very gut wrenching because I was at the company for about 4 years and I really thought, I never think I'm safe because this isn't the first time I've been let go for a company. I have been let go before in the past, but I have never had this much trouble finding work. And as time has gone by, the reason I'm on government assistance is because I don't got money like that. So I've been really trying to survive. I'm in survival mode, and that's basically why my depression has kind of heightened and has gotten worse because of that financial strain. And again, if it wasn't for being on government assistance, which I said in that first video that I posted in about a decade, because I did have a YouTube channel before this, but it was more focused on beauty content, where this time around, I really want to focus on this new chapter in my life as someone who is in her 40s now. I'm not a young 20 something anymore. I have experience. I have gone through things and I've learned through things. I've gone to therapy. I've healed. I've prayed. I've asked for guidance. And I've really been leaning on my instincts and what I feel is best for me. So while I believe the corporate structure has many benefits, as for me within this time of my life of hardship and trial and tribulation, I feel that I need to pivot. Because yes, if I get asked or hired for a corporate job tomorrow, I would absolutely take it, because a girl got to pay bills and a girl has a mortgage and a girl wants to get back into being creative and getting paid for it. At the same time, I also really want to focus on creating my own lane, my own narrative, my own thing that is going to sustain me and the life that I am looking to lead and the life that I want to live for myself. And as hard as the last year plus has been, I have learned so much. So this video, I just want to talk about a few things that I've done in order to manage all of this. And I hope some of this can help some of you. And I can also do a video next time about government assistance if anyone wants some more information on that. So if you do, leave a comment below. And again, thank you to those who do follow and do like and do watch. I know it's only a handful of you. I am a new channel and I do intend to create a trailer and do all of the things that I've done for big beauty brands and Fortune 500 companies and also small startups, which are equally as important, equally as effective, equally influential, and just use those same best practice and tactics that I've done for these companies for myself. So my YouTube channel is a little bit all over the place right now, but I do intend, with all the intention, to create something that is of culture, community, and connection, career, and hopefully we can get on this journey together. But in the meantime, here are a few things that I've been doing in order to sustain and manage myself during being unemployed. So the first thing I've been doing is praying. I have been really leaning, I pray every day. I've gone to church. I am a choir girly. I went to church since I was a young thing. I was in the youth choir. I was in the adult choir. I go to a gospel church here in Brooklyn, New York. And as much as I pray every day and I do seek the Lord for guidance. I have been really trying to lean into scripture and reading my Bible more and reading daily affirmations that come from above, that I can see that even though I can't see the future, I can see I'm in good hands. So that's the first thing that I've been doing. The second thing I've been doing has been a lot of reflecting and thinking. I did pick up books like Atomic Habits or The Morning Motivation, I believe the book is. And link those two books below. But at first I bought these books and I was like, what is the big deal? Like, I've been hearing so much about this on TikTok and YouTube because, yes, I was influenced. But then I actually read it and I was like, this is useful. It's things that I knew and know, but it really helped me dissect how to approach having an effective day, having an effective strategy, and looking at everything in a different way, which is how I was able to kind of get out of my own head when it comes to being my own roadblock, when it comes to trying to find the work and the purpose that I've been looking for. So one thing that I've been doing, I've been really leaning into my network. So like I said, I've been working within this industry for about 20 years, for nearly 20 years. And I also went to New York University, NYU for college, and I have a degree in journalism and mass communications. So I have years of experience on me, and I've met so many people. I freelanced for about 10 years of my career when I first started, and I met so many people then, and even within when I actually went into the salaried corporate structure, I met even more people there. And then also before the pandemic, when within the beauty industry and the media and entertainment, I would go to events, y'all. I was outside. And, that was between 5 to 9. And it was kind of very rewarding. So kind of looking back and really using my LinkedIn as a tool to go through who do I know, where are they now, and how I can connect with them. So I've been sending some warm messages on LinkedIn to people that I worked with in the past, people that have gone to NYU who work at a company that I'm interested in. But instead of asking them, hey, there's a content strategist job in the beauty department that I'm interested in, can you please forward my resume? Which I have done point blank period with some people in my past because I knew them in a way that I didn't feel like I was overstepping and asking that. But for those I didn't feel comfortable in asking that, I would say, hey, blah, blah, blah. Long time no speak. I see that you're at Shark Ninja, and I was just interested in learning about the company. What are your thoughts on it? And I also just want to catch up and get some updates on where you're at now in your life, and kind of using that so I can create that connection with that person. Because I'm looking for a job, but the intention of networking and coffee chats isn't because I want these people to find me a job or get me hired. It's more about connecting. And I think there's power in that, in connecting in community, because who knows down the line if someone's going to need your services for something, or if you pop into someone's mind about a role within their company while they're sitting in a meeting with their team, and they're like, okay, so next we're going to talk about hiring a new content strategist. And someone's like, oh, I know someone, this girl Christine I used to work with about 5 years ago, because I reached out to her about 4 weeks ago, and then she remembered me. So just kind of using, and I'm not using them, but I'm using our connection, because also I'm learning more about where people are at. I think for me, if I can get more information about how you got there, where you're from, how you got there, what are your goals, how do you do what you do. And honestly, I have learned so much while still not finding a job, because I have had so many coffee chats, whether it's virtual or in person. If you can meet in the city, in New York, in Brooklyn, if you're from Brooklyn or from the tri-state area, you call Manhattan the city. But, meeting in Manhattan, getting a drink, a coffee, a tea, or something like that, and connecting, going to a a bookstore and meeting there, having virtual chats, because some women I've met specifically have been in Canada. There's one woman who was in Canada. Another woman was living in Detroit. Another woman is in Hawaii. Another woman is in North Carolina. Another woman is in South Carolina. So, it's been exhilarating, really, because hearing other people's stories is so inspiring to create your own, something that matters to you. And connecting with these women specifically at this age has really been very insightful, because some of these women are much older than me and they know their stuff. So they're giving me wisdom and insight that they don't even know. I did reach out to a lot of them to say, you have really transformed me. And that has really helped with me in finding some kind of purpose. But with these women, these everyday working women who are in similar lines of work than me, are doing it, and they're being open to about their struggles with me and what they've had to overcome in their work, in their life, to get to where they are, what obstacles they faced in when they started their own business, how did they apply for their business, who did they use, what services they use to apply for EIN number, to create an LLC, what tools do they use to manage their day-to-day, aka like a Notion calendar. How do they approach these conversations when it comes to finding clients, finding work? What does an invoice look like when they are asking for what they deserve and the amount that they're worth? So all of this has really helped me kind of create this sense of purpose. So not necessarily finding work, but finding opportunity outside of just finding a job, but really using my network, coffee chats, and just reaching out. And honestly, even if I do get a corporate job, which I hope I do, or I get clients and I'm a freelancer, contractor, part-time, whatever it is that I finally get my own income, I'm still going to continue to do these chats. So one of the other things I've been doing is really getting myself out there and getting out of my head. I will admit there are days where it's hard to get up, but then I realize if I don't get up, nothing's going to get done. So one of my friends, she was having a RuPaul Drag Race party a few months ago when it premiered this last season. And I was like, I don't know if I wanted to go because people are going to be there and it was like a Friday night and people are going to talk about work and I don't have anything to talk about. I don't have anything to share. I'm not going anywhere because I don't have money to do anything. So I just felt like I should just stay home. And I'm so glad that I didn't. I'm so glad that I listened to my heart and not my head to say, you have things to offer. You're not just about your job and, like, did you go for a walk today? Like, you are a person and you're going through things. So this is a community, a group of people I feel safe with. So that's even a plus. So in going to the party, I was talking to a lot of people. Eventually I came out of my shell and I was being more myself. And we were watching Drag Race and I was just like, yeah, I used to work with one of the hosts of Drag Race France. And they were like, what? I was in a room with all these gay men, these fabulous men. And they were like, what? Tell me more. So I actually kind of went off with one of them and we connected really well because I don't know, we just saw each other. And when I was opening up to him, I don't know why, I just felt very comfortable with him. He was just such a sweet soul. He is a sweet soul. And I was telling him, yeah, I mean, I haven't worked in a while. So this job was about in 2019, like before the pandemic. And, it just brings me back watching Drag Race. And I wish I could do that again. But, I've been trying to find work for over a year. And he was just like, hold up. And he's like, I do fractional HR. And I said, say what? It was like the Red Sea parted. I have been trying to get in touch with recruiters for months. And even the ones that I have gotten in touch with are like, the job market's not looking good, especially when the tariffs were happening and all this stuff. So I just was just like aghast. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm meeting someone like this. And he was like, I want to help you. So we actually got into a deeper conversation throughout the night. And I was telling him, I'm 40 years old. I feel lost. I feel alone. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And I really want to connect with Black women in corporate America, no matter what industry that they're working in, just what their experience is, especially those that are working for themselves, and just getting more information. And if I hear other people's story, maybe that can help me influence and create my own. So he was very on top of it. I think that he was an angel sent to me that night, because he has been so active in sending me referrals. He's been adding me to Slack groups that can help me in finding work. He's been connecting me on LinkedIn with these women that he's met in his career, because he's like, I think I know who you should meet. And he's like, I know this person, this person, this person, this person. So I was just like, wow. So it was overwhelming at first, because I was having like coffee chat, break, coffee chat, break. So like, I'm really glad that I met him. I can't even express how grateful I am for him. His name is Cody. But yeah, Cody, shout out to you, homeboy. I love you so much. You have been such a godsend to me. But he's connected me with these women, and in having these coffee chats, it's helped me kind of have more clarity and seeing that not everything is meant to happen the way that we expect it to be, because hearing these women's stories has given me a lot more to hold on to, and I've been really appreciative of them and that. So that leads to my next thing, is unexpected opportunity. So in talking to one of these women, I just, again, connected with her too. Like, it was just so effortless. It just seemed like I was talking to one of my homegirls, but she, again, gave me a lot more wisdom and insight, because she's much older than me. She's worked in corporate America for maybe 15 years longer than I have. And when I was explaining to her some of the things that I've been feeling, like working in corporate America, not feeling seen, especially as a Black woman, and how did you handle that? And she told me she went back to school during the pandemic to get her MBA. She's starting her own beauty company. So when we were just connecting as a coffee chat, and then she was telling me this, and then, well, I spoke first. I told her about myself, and I was like, I'm a content strategist. I do beauty, Then she's telling me about herself, and then she's like, actually, I'm starting my own beauty company, and I would love to bring you on board. No contract has been signed, but just that experience alone has given me purpose. Like, I feel like the stars are aligning, and I feel like I hope this opportunity does come into fruition and we do sign a contract. But at the same time, I know that when it rains, it pours. So I'm accepting everything that is being thrown at me, because it can only lead to more doors. It can only lead to more opportunities. So have these coffee chats, network, tell everything about yourself, share your story, and then maybe someone can say, you could be part of my story, and you could get paid for it, because that's what we all want, right? Another thing I've been doing is working with staffing agencies. So like I said earlier, I had reached out to recruiters for a few months, and I wasn't hearing anything from them, to the point where I felt discouraged to keep reaching out to them, because I was like, I don't want to keep bothering them. Like, I feel like a nuisance. But at the same time, I need to get paid, and they get paid if they hire people for this to write jobs. So there is nothing wrong with me reaching out to say, hey, I saw this position on your company's website. I'm a good candidate for it. Thoughts, feelings. And they can say, oh, we have too many submissions for it, which is fine. Or, no, we're not taking in more candidates. We actually are hiring someone right now. We just didn't take it down. But now there are more opportunities. I have had my fourth round interview just this morning for a job through a staffing agency that I had reached out to over a year ago. And for months and months and months, they were telling me that they don't have any work, especially because when the tariffs had happened, or whatever happened there. I mean, we know what happened there, but you know what I mean. They were very open and honest about how corporate companies are not really hiring, because they don't even know what their bottom line is going to be in terms of this inventory and the taxes that would go onto the consumer that they have to bake into their car. Like, it was just too much. So I had to kind of sit back and wait, and the waiting paid off because I'm on my third round of interview for this one role, and there are other jobs that they're reaching out to me now and asking me, do you think you're a good fit? Please submit your resume. We think you'll be great. And stuff like that. And if they do reach out to me and it's not a role I'm interested in, I'm still asking for those coffee chats. I'm still like, hey, thank you so much for thinking of me. I don't think this is an opportunity that's right for me at this time, but here's my experience, here's my resume, here's my LinkedIn, here's my creative link to my creative portfolio. I would love to have a one-on-one chat with you whenever you're free so we can talk about other opportunities, and I could tell you a little bit more about myself. So hopefully if something does come across your desk that you think I'm a good fit for, you know who to call, So kind of just being the coffee chats and putting yourself out there is the number one thing I would say. And then it really trickles down to a whole bunch of things that are inclusive of that. Being social and having your community, reaching out to your network, reaching out to these agencies that are to help you. So using staffing agencies, I'm using my resources within the HRA, Human Resources Administration, because they have something called We Care, which is an employment agency program that they use to help people find work. Unfortunately for me as a creative, they don't have things that align with me, but they have so many other valuable resources that I've been using in order to help better my situation. The other thing I've been doing is setting myself up to work for myself, because I think in the long run, I do eventually want to be my own boss, and I want to create my own content, and I want to create my own business. So while I was having these coffee chats, a majority of these women, no, actually all of these women that I spoke to, these Black women that I spoke to, all work for themselves now. They were in my position when they were my age. They had worked in corporate America for 20 something years, and they realized they've reached a glass ceiling. And it was a situation like mine where they were let go and they didn't know what else to do. So they kind of had to pivot, and they didn't have the guidance that they're giving me now in order to do that. So setting myself up for working for myself looks like researching, a lot of research. I have a notebook for interviews and appointments. So if I have a chat with a recruiter, I'm writing everything down. If I have an interview, I'm writing everything down. And when I do have these chats, I just let them know I'm writing stuff down. So when I'm looking down, that's what I'm doing. So I have a notebook for that. I have a notebook for courses. I've been taking courses because, yes, I have 20 years of experience within this industry, but what harm is there going to do in a certificate? Plus, it helps me utilize my days in a way that I feel is useful and effective. So taking these courses for 2 hours, 3 hours, taking a quiz and passing it, and then I get a certificate that I can add on to my LinkedIn. Another thing I've been doing is researching LLCs and what does that look like for registering a business. I've been asking these women, how did they do it? What steps did they take? Who did they use? Some women are like, I have a PO box. I never even thought about that. So these are the things that have been very useful information in me, which I haven't done it yet because I need money to do that. But I'm setting myself up and I'm getting all the information and I'm educating myself on what that looks like. In addition, I've been creating content because I think working for myself does look like what I'm doing right now. I can't talk for the long term, but at least for now, I am working on myself. I'm working on talking to the camera. I haven't done this in over a decade. The landscape of social media and YouTube itself has changed, and I feel like I'm behind. So as my channel would be growing, I'm going to be learning more and I'm going to be showing up as the best version of myself. And I'm really putting the work in doing that. I've also been kind of reflecting on what my brand looks like. Who do I want to serve? What kind of content do I want to put out there? And kind of creating an editorial calendar. Because again, like I've done this for Fortune 500 companies. I've done this for startups. I've done this for global beauty brands. I could do it for myself too. So using that experience, in addition to collecting certificates like their Infinity Stones, and really putting the value so that I also can present myself in a way. So when I do have clients, I can say, yeah, I have the experience, but I also have this. I have my own TikTok. I have my own YouTube channel. I talk about culture, content, community, career, soft and seasoned, Black woman edition. So that being said, another thing I've been doing is creating content and maintaining and staying visible. It's not easy, creating a TikTok, it's not just like that. Sometimes it is. I'll be sitting in my bonnet and then I'm watching Love Island and I have something to say. But I'm really leaning on content creation, things that align. I don't necessarily know what my branding is going to be per se, like specifically. I will be coming back with like a trailer and all of that stuff that I'm working on right now. So that's added to this list. But I do know the things that make me happy and bring me joy. So I do want to incorporate that into the content that I will be putting out there. So really leaning on my TikTok and pop culture commentary, speaking about things that matter to me. I'm a Brooklyn bred, born New Yorker. So things that really relate to the city that I can give some people some information about, especially that I'm from here. I'm not one of those NYC influencers. I am from Brooklyn, all right? And in creating that content, especially just specifically for YouTube, because I don't talk about this on my TikTok. TikTok is more about pop culture and things happening within the moment. I have been, excuse me, because she's meowing right now. I adopted a cat. Her name is Willow. Say hi, Willow. She's a Siberian cat. Hi, boo-boo. She's so cute. But she has been my saving grace for so many reasons. Do you want to get down? Okay. Yeah, I adopted a cat. At first, I was terrified because I was like, I can't even take care of myself. Like, I can't even get out of bed. But she's actually been a saving grace for me because she's the reason I get out of bed. I have to take care of another living being. Cats are creatures of habit. So I've actually had to be on a schedule thanks to my cat, thanks to Willow, because she wakes me up in the morning. At first, it was annoying. Like she hid from me for 3 weeks. So that's number one. So we had to build trust. So I had to create a safe space for her within my home. And in doing that, kind of curating this space for her, because this is her apartment now, gave me purpose in caring for something and someone else outside of myself. That being said, I have been doing that my entire life. I am the oldest daughter of Haitian immigrants, and I've always been the only Black person in white spaces, from school to corporate America, usually in corporate America. So I have taken care of a lot more than I should have in my entire life. But for the first time in my life, especially as a single woman in her 40s with no kids, I see so much. Like, she's a little cat, right? But I see so much in her. And just the innocence of having an animal who, we built that trust over the 3 weeks. And now she follows me everywhere. She's by my side. If I leave to go out, I want to get home to her. We cuddle, we sleep together. I make sure she has all the toys she needs and she's comforted and she's okay. I'm running my AC. We're in a heat wave right now, especially in New York City. And I'm like, I will leave the AC on. I'll just ask Con Ed for a break or something. But yeah, like, she has been such a saving grace to me. But Willow has done so much for my mental health and my depression because she gives me purpose. And I absolutely love taking care of her. I love seeing her sleeping and being comfortable and using, things that bring her joy. And with the help of my family, because I do get help from my family for big things. Like, my sister has helped me pay my mortgage multiple times. My mom helps me pay my bills. And I felt very irresponsible in adopting a cat because I was just like, you're broke. Why are you adopting a cat? And then when I told that to my sisters and my mom, my dad and my brother have also been very supportive of it. And my niece as well, my brother's daughter. But in sharing that with my family, they were like, you have taken care of us your entire life. And even my parents acknowledged all of the responsibility that I have taken on, that they are coming to the realization and all of that. So they were like, what we're going to do for you is get you the cat and everything you need for the cat, in addition to helping you with everything else, because you are that type of daughter, that type of sister. And that also, that affirmation has been so reaffirming that I have given so much to the people around me that now it's my turn. And I'm just so grateful for my community and my family and my friends who have given me so much in terms of, again, like keeping this roof over my head, giving me forms of entertainment. Like I really wanted to see Mission Impossible when it came out, Dead Reckoning final part. And I was like, I ain't got money for this. And my sister's like, I will take care of all the movie tickets so we can go, because you need to see Thunderbolts. You need to see this. You need to see that. And I'm like, Sinners. And I'm like, I feel so bad. But they're like, no, this is my time, my turn to take care of you. And I'm like, okay. So I've been trying also to learn to accept help and being transparent about what my needs are and what I'm going through with my friends, family, and community, the people I met at the drag race party. I didn't tell everybody my business, but when I was speaking to Cody one-on-one, and then we started talking deeper and deeper and deeper, and I just felt more open to be honest with him about my struggles, which end up leading to multiple coffee chats and networking, which end up leading to a potential opportunity for work. So all of this, combined on top of each other, has been really uplifting in so many ways. So my next point is leaning onto my community. It has made such a difference I don't know why I thought isolating would be better for me, because it just made everything worse. It made the clouds darker. It made the rain fall harder. And now that I have been opening myself up, both in being transparent and honest about my experience, what I'm going through, it has allowed me to be seen by the people I love the most, by my chosen family and friends. So yeah, leaning on community. And I don't feel shame. I never did feel shame, to be honest. It was just hard to let people know that you're not doing as well as they think you are, because we're humans, we're herd creatures. We want to be accepted. We want to be seen. We want to be applauded and rewarded and celebrated. And none of that was going on for me. So I was like, no one cares about what I'm going through, but so many people do care. And seeing that love and the pouring of it into my cup for once has been so uplifting, like I said earlier. So really lean on your community if you have it. Really lean on your network. Really lean on yourself and trust yourself that you know what's best for you. So being open and honest about your experiences can only lead to more opportunity. And that even includes the staffing agencies. Like, hey, I'm still looking for work. You need anybody? And then they're like, no, absolutely not. Because it's just really hard right now. No one's hiring. And then a month later, I'm like, hey, it's me again. Knock, knock, knock. It's about taking chances, being open, being honest, being transparent. But again, not everybody needs to know all your business, but everyone is going to know mine. Well, not everyone, probably the 10 people who do watch. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just about all of the above. So really try to put yourself out there when you can. And if you can't, find the will to do so. In addition to my cat, mental health has been a big part of my story now. I was diagnosed with depression in 2020 during the uprising of George Floyd. It was actually George Floyd's murder that caused me to spiral because of all of these societal pressures and responsibilities that I've had growing up. Again, I went to all white school because my parents at the time thought that would be the best thing for me, which it was in some ways, because, I had a really great education. Not saying I couldn't get that at a public school, but my zone school at that time was a hot mess. And my parents were like, absolutely not. So they put me in private schools. And I still have 2 friends to this day, or 3 friends to this day, I would say, that I'm still really, 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 really good friends with. But it was so hard to be in those spaces, and I'm still living with that trauma to this day. I've always felt invisible, not seen, not heard, didn't know how to advocate for myself, didn't know how to use my voice. And I was just a lost little girl. And then on top of that, I am the daughter of Haitian immigrants. So it wasn't an intention of theirs, because my parents have acknowledged it now, because we've had really great open conversations about what I've went through, and they haven't taken it personally, which I know a lot of parents do when you're like, oh, you used to do this when I was a child. And they're like, no, I didn't. My parents are like, I'm sorry that's, but I didn't know better. And, I came from Haiti and I was trying to figure things out and blah, blah, blah. So I forgive them and I accept them, but that doesn't mean that the trauma is not there. So when George Floyd happened, it's kind of like my brain snapped, and all that trauma that I was suppressing for my entire life up until I was like 35 when that happened, I was not well. I was not well, because all of a sudden the world, even though it's performative for a lot of people, they were asking the Black community, how do you feel? How are you doing? And I was like, this is the first time in my entire life that anyone outside of my immediate friends and family is asking me how I'm doing. Like, I didn't know how to handle that. So I went to therapy for the first time, and that's really when I learned more about who I really am, and working through the trauma, walking to this place, through this place of healing, and kind of using that as a tool and a safe space for me to figure things out. And because I went to therapy, I really leaned more into my faith as a Christian woman, and I love to sing gospel music. So, if I do feel down and I feel defeated, I'm blasting Brooklyn Tabernacle, y'all. My whole neighbor is going to hear it. My whole neighborhood is going to hear it. Trust and believe. Okay. And the last thing I've been doing is staying soft and seasoned. I've been really leaning into this woman that I am today. I've been really reflecting on my past experiences, both within my family dynamic, my friend groups, my corporate America experience, my career in and of itself, my medical care, my mental health, my faith, and really kind of redefining who Christina is and what she needs. And that has been very eye-opening, because there's a lot about myself that I doubted, and in doing that, I'm just holding myself back. So I'm leaning into softness as well, leaning into self-care and giving myself grace, because I'm working hard. I might not be making the income that I need right now or I want to right now, but I am working hard. I'm working hard. I have so much on my plate that my days are fulfilled. I feel fulfilled in a way that I don't think I've ever felt in the last year or so, as opposed to the last 2 months, or since Drag Race started, the last season. So yeah, like really leaning into this soft version of myself. So I've kind of been pouring into myself in a way that makes me feel good. So taking baths, I'm rewatching a lot of nostalgic content from my childhood that have made me happy and give me joy, and that creativity is inspired. It's a little bit hard for me to watch new content as opposed to things like Sinners, which is out of this world. Even watching Sinners gives me so much inspiration, and listening to Ryan Coogler's story and how he got to where he is from Compton to now, and he's one of the highest grossing directors of all time, and he worked so hard for that. So yeah, leaning into storytelling that makes me happy, and that includes watching rewatching Buffy, rewatching Smallville, rewatching Vampire Diaries, rewatching Bewitched. I watched I Love Lucy a few episodes, like if I'm late at night. I rewatch Roswell. I'm really going back to these. I don't remember everything per se, but I remember the feeling that I had when I watched it. So when I do feel like I'm overwhelmed and I finished reading this book, or I already finished this task, or I already listened to this song a million times, it's easy for me to put on an episode of something from the past and lean into what that feels like. And that kind of transmits throughout my body and my mind, and it really gives me something to believe in. And even in on my TikTok, I've been creating content that's leaning into that nostalgia. Like on Charm, there was always a musical guest. Remember when there were musical guests on TV shows? I don't know how Piper, aka Holly Marie Combs, Piper Hollowell in the show booked these bands, but you got Paula Cole, you got the Goo Goo Dolls, you got the episode I watched last night, the Bare Naked Ladies were on. So like that just makes me so happy, as opposed to content now, which just feels like it's falling flat. Like the last season of The Last of Us, I wish this is the last season I'm watching of The Last of Us. Let's say that, because it was not good. No, it's taking years for shows to come out, and I'm losing the plot. So I'm going back to what I know and what makes me feel happy and what makes me feel comfortable and what, brings me into the safe space from when I was younger, like running home from school and 8 to 10 on the CW, DWB, CW, whatever it was, transferred to one to another. But, kind of leaning into that content, that kind of makes me happy. And then creating content around that. So I also want to incorporate that into my YouTube channel and kind of talk about things, because I can dissect, y'all. We can get into it. So let me think about what that would look like, and then I would love to bring people on that journey, especially people within my age group who remember when, and then we can reminisce and kiki and have a good time, and just keeping it positive, light, happy, healthy, but still understanding the pain, anguish, and trauma, because that is what is inspiring me to keep pushing through. So to wrap up this video, I hope in being open and honest, it inspires someone to do the same. You don't have to do it publicly, but just within yourself, and talk to yourself about what you're feeling, what you need, and don't BS yourself, because I did that for so long. And it wasn't until I really leaned on my community, my network, my connections, that I found purpose, because I found my cat, I found structure, I found these books, I found tools, I found courses, I found so much that, again, I don't have the income yet, but I do have so much. I feel an abundance of opportunity is coming down the line. And that's another thing with my mental health, is that I have to believe it to be true. If I keep thinking and doubting myself, it's not going to happen. And if I keep holding myself back, it's not going to happen. So I need to push through the pain, allow myself to feel that, but get up and get out. And in all of that, I found my connection, I found my momentum, and I found something that really matters to me, and something that I believe in, something I know I can do. So if you're feeling helpless, hopeless, if you're jobless, if you're feeling uncertain, if you're feeling down, I want you to keep your head up, okay? Keep your head up and turn that pain into power and purpose. You can do it. I am doing it, and it's not easy. I have to show up for myself every day, but you can do it just like I can. Keep your head up. Keep planting seeds. Keep showing up, because your story isn't over. It's just unfolding. This is a new beginning for us, for everyone who's in a similar situation. For me, I have faith in us, and we got this. I hope you stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you in my next video. All right. Peace and love, y'all. Bye.